because that's abstract. Because anybody can set up a nation. This or that type of nation. The Europeans have a nation. But I'm going back to put more emphasis on black supremacy. That's specific. It's not just any type of nation. It's not a nation of just niggas coming together, coming up. It's not a come-up nation like that. I'm talking about a black supremacy, a nation under black supremacy, not capitalism, not just economic growth and development nation, but a black supremacy nation. But if you put the emphasis on black supremacy, which is the sovereignty, which is the cornerstone, which is the fundamental basis, then the nation is coming automatically. You ain't got to focus on nationalism. Black supremacy automatically begins to set up nationhood. There is no nation without black supremacy. There will be no black nation. There will only be small corporate entities, institutions, fraternities, sororities, cliques of men that call themselves nations, that are not sovereign or independent, but are dependent and in alliance with the larger European beast. Why? Because the concepts of their nationalism do not reflect black power or black supremacy. Give you an example. In ancient Africa, there were pharaohs. There were kings. Even if we don't even go ancient, if we go to the 1800s, go further back and look at Shaka Zulu, we find kings. Even if we go back even as far as back to Selassie, and that ain't too far. Even up to now, I'm not going to take people past to a history they don't understand. Look at His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie. Look at Menelik. You had black kings that represented the power of the people, that recognized the divinity of themselves as a people, so they could stand one among them who represented that power. Today we have democracies. We have anarchy. We have neocolonialism. We have democratic institutions that allow white people to interface with them for economic purposes. That doesn't represent black power. There is no nation without a sovereign, and the sovereign in these nations is materialism and capitalism. That's the only sovereign in these nations that these individuals have set up. Money is the sovereign, because that is the priority. And if you got the money and you with the money cliques, then you take on the sovereignty of the cliques. That ain't no black nation, even though it's black people in them. Even though they're composed of black people, that's not a black nation. That's not a black nation. So when you go back to the ancient societies, we didn't have democracies of people that just come together to get resources together and vote on this, that, and the other. There was only one goal and one aim: black supremacy. That was the focus. Black is power. That was the focus. Black authority. That was the focus. That's different from what we have here today. We may build greater economic institutions, but we don't recognize ourselves as a powerful force to be reckoned with or respected, because we do not have the respect for one another. So while we get our little money, the European keeps taking us down, because the basis of what we're doing is not seeing the black man standing up, but to see the economy standing up, to see a dollar bill stand up, to see sales go up. Do you see what I'm saying? When is the focus of actually being able to stomach the black man standing up? You got black organizations that came to be about black nation building and black culture and this, that, and other, but they have let white people into their institutions. And when a brother come and talk about pure black supremacy and that the white man is the devil, they have a problem with that brother. Because that means there's not going to be no white people in there. that white people are not going to benefit from that. Because you can have democracies with white people. That's a fact. You can have relationships and alliances with European entities and forces to get things accomplished. You can do this. But with black supremacy, that's a whole nother mentality. You cannot have relationships that keep Europeans in power in any particular type of way. Black supremacy is about removing and slowly getting rid of those relationships. Even if it has not been completely accomplished at this moment, the goal is to slowly but surely have those relationships become less. Because those relationships are the strings that the European and the white man pulls on to pull themselves back into what we're doing and to pull what we're doing apart. So those relationships have to become minimized to the point of complete destruction. That is the goal of black supremacy. But if those relationships make money for the Democrat or the Republican or the anarchist, if it makes money for them, then the maintenance of those relationships is greater than the complete implementation of black supremacy. That's a fact. Black supremacist enlightenment, based upon the overstanding of a black God and complete black God consciousness, can stomach a black man being in power. That's different from an anarchist get money clique or democratic institution based on capitalism and making money. That's different. The priorities are different. Because when a black man can come into power, that means that the respect of black people in society for themselves and for others has changed. Am I correct? When a black man can come into power, into sovereign power, that is an example that the respect for that black people and that black nation has changed dramatically. That's a fact. And if that has not happened, the situation has not changed. Because black people have more money, don't mean they got more respect. Having money don't mean you got sovereignty. That don't mean that. But evolving and being in the manifestation of a position of power in this day and time represents transformation and change. That's a fact. We knew black people could come together based on economics. Black Wall Street. And they tore that city down. We know black people can come together based upon these different secular goals and motives. This is not new. But can we come together based upon the institution of black supremacy and black New World Order? Can we come together on the basis of that? That's the new challenge for people. That's the new challenge for people. So black supremacy is different. You're right, it's not moving. So the ability to embrace black power, black S power, when we know we can organize together specifically against seeing black people in power today. We see people doing that. They can organize against that faster than they can organize against what? The institution of white supremacy. We can see that. That's why we have so much negativity within our community, because we are faster to organize against one another than we are to work together and organize against our real enemy, to even take over something that is real for us. The issue with that is is that it's easier to tolerate white supremacy based upon design than it is to tolerate black people in being in power. And that's not just a European thing. That's not just, we're not in a condition that we are today as a people just because of what the Europeans think about us. We're in a condition because of what they're doing to us, but we're in a condition that we're in because of what we think about ourselves. We think that we are nothing, and we don't have power. And to reinforce that thought, we attack one another to prove it out and play it out over and over again. We don't have power, but we don't attack the European institutions. We don't attack the police department. We don't attack the National Guard. We don't attack the White House. We don't organize to make those specific moves, but we will organize to bring down one another for any reason, any little reason. It makes sense. That nigga ain't shit. Quickly. This is a Willie Lynch mindset. And this has to be corrected. We call coming into power and gaining power as a people as no black man having power. No black man actually has power, but this invisible we that has power. If a nigga get up there, sit him down. But somehow this invisible, intangible thing called we has power. But that's no real man. Do you understand the point I'm making? If a real man, it seems like he's worthy and can step into that. They say, hell no, can't be him. They rather give it to an invisible we. That's heavy. The bees don't operate like that. There is a queen bee. This is how they reproduce themselves and build up their hives and keep their civilizations going. They don't start ego tripping. You ain't no damn queen bee. Do you understand the point I'm making? With the ants, you see the army ants. You see structure. With our people, we don't see that. We see another reason not to see the manifestation of black divinity. But this consciousness has to change. Because you can't begin to tell me that you're about black power and black consciousness, black divinity, and all of the information that you have read and studied, but you cannot conceptualize a black man that even looks as yourself in power. You cannot conceptualize that. With all the books and information you've read, you're deep. You're very learned and well studied, but with all your learning and study, you cannot possibly conceive of a real being on earth that is in power. It is totally mythology. It is total fantasy. That somewhere on the earth, there's black men to be in power today, not organizations and groups. We had groups in power, the NAACP, this and that group that had power. But that didn't mean power for us. That meant power for those groups or power for those cliques. And when I say power for us, I mean the image of our power is recognized, not the image of an institution. The NAACP is not a black man or a black woman. It's a corporation. It's an institution. So that does not represent the image and manifestation of black people being somehow respected and seen as something different in the minds of this planet. Even Barack Obama, he's not an independent, powerful black man. He's a puppet of the American flag, the American flag. He's a puppet of global white imperialism. So that's not black power. That's not independence. There's no sovereignty. That's a job. You got a job at McDonald's and you got a job in the White House. He just gets paid a little more than minimum wage. He has a job, a desk. He has to report to it, duties. Barack Obama is an employee of the United States of America. He does not represent black power, black achievement. He represents